It's another gorgeous day out in the SoCal desert. Got a little cloud cover and some wind, but thought we'd actually share something a little different with you guys. A couple months ago, we'd talked about doing a Trixie project, and in fact, we did finish our 85, kind of a restoration. And this right here, this is the newest one. This is going to be one of my personal bikes right here. This is different, to say the least. So what is this? This started out life as an 86 Trixie, and we decided to give it a swap and make it a project. So first off, what's her name? Trixie. So this is Trixie. And what is the Trixie project? Well, I'll tell you what the Trixie project is. Take yourself way back in the day when the three-wheelers were just hammering. 84, 85, 86, right before the ban. Awesome 250R Hondas and Takati 3s bitchin', and the Trixie 250s too. The Japanese manufacturers put all their technology in those. Well, Suzuki didn't. Basically, Suzuki wasn't in the three-wheeler market, and I decided to build something as if Suzuki built it, to really put the fear of God in the other Japanese manufacturers. And this is this project's going to be as if Suzuki made it. It's going to be a Tri-Racer 540R. So essentially, we started out with the 86 Trixie 250. Why 86? Well, 86 has longer travel on the forks, better suspension. Just it's the best of the Yamaha had to offer. And with a motor like this, need to have something decent. But the long story short, to do this swap, it's like putting a 572 big block in a Vega. Physically it could go in there, but it is a shoehorn. So let's talk about what we have right now. By the way, we're showing you this bike in 100% mock-up in the middle of the build stage. So when you look at everything, mismatched plastic, swing arm, all this crap, that's because none of this stuff that you see cosmetically will be on this bike in the end. But how it's mocked up and fabbed up is how it's going to be. So, and then also today we're going to show you a little bit about doing some plastic restoration too. So long story short, this thing is tough. We were able to modify the stock Trixie 250 radiator mountings and get them in there. It is a mother. To put this motor, this is one of my mock-up motors here. There is literally an 1/8 inch or less clearance everywhere. And you're seeing it even before I've put in the final mounts and all the rest of it. Kickstarter is RM250. I actually stole it off of Zelda. It's modified, but we need that because the Trixie 250 kicked forward, and we needed to swing the kicker out to kind of clear the fenders. And I guess we can go to the fenders. By the way, this thing, it's got 250 Quad Racer mock-up pegs on it. It has a Zilla swinger in here. It's just sitting in here for mock-up to hold the bike up. We're going to have a custom swinger that is part Quadzilla, part 85-86 LT250R, part Banshee, and part Trixie. But it's going to be, this bike is going to be a dooner bike. And it's going to be pretty serious. It's going to have a full HRD 540 queued up motor in it. 8.5 over swinger, long travel, edges. Just a scary machine. It'll have a little different kind of headlight setup on it and all the rest of it. But one of the things we had to do to get this thing in here is the shrouds look original. They're really not. They're cut up and modified. Same as the radiator mounting. Just a huge job. We've been working on this. This is day 4. And wow. A lot of work. Everything's tight. But we got everything in. We haven't built our fuel tank yet. We're going to put a little aluminum tank to go right underneath that airbox cover. But you can see there's the mock-up with the carburetor. Yeah, the coil's just hanging there. We got to remount that. A lot of cutting, a lot of fabbing. But one of the things was to get these fenders cut to clear the Kickstarter. So this right here, these are the actual fenders that's going to go on Trixie. I just haven't cut them yet. I was fortunate enough to have a good friend and somebody who lives in Hesperia here, Sean Hess, bring me some radiator shrouds and a rear fender to chop up his mock-up, because you know we got to hack the snot out of this stuff to see what's right. But after a lot of hacking, yeah, you can see all the stuff on the ground. We kind of got the fender profile how we want it, and it clears the kicker barely. So the other thing I wanted to show you people, and by the way, don't criticize it because it has ugly fork boots and cracked plastic and shit. This bike's going to look totally different when it's done. I can't tell you all the stuff, but you're just going to have to trust me. This thing's going to be something else when it's done. I'm really happy about getting the fender profiles cut. And so what we did in the other part of this video is to show you a little bit of some of the stuff we do for plastic restoration and modification. So you can see obviously on this one side of the plastic looks pretty yellow and shiny, and the other is putrid. Well, this side looked just like the other, and it takes some work. You know, there's getting to be a lot of older ATVs that have faded plastic that are out there, and sometimes you can't even get it. Or if you buy new plastic, it's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So here's some stuff that I've learned over the years and years, and I've tried everything as far as plastic goes. You know, it won't make it new. It's still going to be brittle, but we can make the finish really acceptable so that you can ride something without looking like faded out, clapped out junk. So what we did is essentially the fenders look like this. Horrible. Just faded, big time, hanging down. By the way, Trixie, they don't have any rear fender brace underneath here. Don't ask me why. Especially on a three-wheeler, you're leaning off it. So I'm going to make some for this. And what we did is, basically it's like you color sand a car. So got a bucket of soapy water and a brush. Clean the plastic off. We got different thickness of sanding sponges and a semi-hard block. This one was so bad we actually started out with 80 grit paper. And I did a quickie just on the one side to show you the difference, but we started with the sanding sponge, and this side's the soft side, this is a little harder side. And basically we went 80 grit on this thing with soap and water on it. You just keep sanding until you get down to the yellow. You can see it's still not quite done, but we're not keeping these fenders on the bike anyways. I just wanted to see how it looked. And you keep working, and when you get done, when you're up to about 220, then we take the sanding sponges, and I have a medium, fine, and a fine sanding sponge. And we just keep working away. Remember, when you sand, you're putting scratches in the plastic, but you're just trying to get down to the original color. What I would do is put the plastic up on something so that you don't bend it and crack it while you're sanding on it, because you really got to get after it. You know, I mean, it's just how it is. And then when you're done with it, you'll know, because it'll come back to its original color when it's wet, and you'll see how you're doing. So at the end, you'll use the really super fine sanding sponge and sand it till you're happy with the finish. And then what you can do, like on this thing, the plastic was just all drooped down and everything else. What we did is took us a heat gun. Yeah, this is my POS gun. I've got a real nice one in the back shop. But basically you'll heat the plastic up and put a little pressure on it, just enough to till it comes back into shape. Do not leave that the heat gun on the plastic too long or hot, because you'll melt it and you'll ruin it. So a little bit goes a long way. Just practice. And then what we did is, after we're all done with that, there's a product called SC1. Maximum makes it. It's really good. And we just sprayed the fenders with that. And it basically sinks into the plastic and absorbs it and gives it a nice finish. It's not oily, so it won't attract dirt and dust and all the rest of it. And it does a good job. And, you know, like I said, this is not the final product on this fender, but the difference is unbelievable. And so that's it. You can see everything's underway. She's gonna be badass. You know, I'm a little nervous. I haven't ridden a three-wheeler for years and years, but luckily Sean and a couple of my friends who ride three-wheelers all the time volunteered to just give me some tips. You know, when it comes to the four-wheelers and the two-wheelers, I'm a madman. Three-wheelers, well, not so much. But anyways, hope you folks like the bike. I know it's hideous, but bear with me. In a short time, this thing will be done, and you're going to be like, wow. Anyhow, folks out there in Quad Racer land, you guys just have yourself a great day, and hope you like Trixie. Talk to you later.